reminder that it costs $0 to be nice. How much, what is it to be an asshole? I can Venmo you. That's not the point. It's free, isn't it? You're so stupid. You know what's funny is I would gladly pay to be an asshole, but I don't have to because it's free. You're ugly.
Hey, everybody. I couldn't resist. How's it going, everybody? It's FamCam, and welcome to It's Getting Late, a show where we interview Asmrs and have a lot of fun doing it. Today, we have an extraordinary guest. This guy and I have been friends for quite a while. He is known for gaming ASMR, card magic ASMR, traditional ASMR, and what I recently learned, basketball. We're going to talk about all those things and more. We're going to talk about all those things and more. Please welcome Dido ASMR. How's it going, man?
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me. It's good to be on the show. Appreciate being on the podcast. I know this is a bit of a first for me because I've never been on a podcast before. So, and I'm assuming probably for a lot of people watching as well, might be a bit weird hearing my voice. So even for you too, you've probably never heard my sort of normal voice.
Not for a long time. I know I have heard it before. You and I first met doing an Among Us collab with AGN, with CNP, with Captain, with Let's Play, a bunch of others. So I have heard your real voice off camera, but that was ages ago.
That was a great video.
It was a lot of fun. I'll have a link down below in the description, both Dido's side and my own. But that being said, let's start with the basics. How did you get into ASMR?
So I actually talked about this in a video quite recently because I did a Q&A because, you know, I've never really been one to kind of actually go delve into how I discovered ASMR in my videos. But it was back in about 2014. So, I mean, you always get lots of people saying, you know, I've been watching it for this amount of time or for this amount of time. And usually they're, you know, never completely accurate because sometimes ASMR stumbles upon you, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
It kind of just shows up and you're recommended and you're like, what is this? And you kind of don't really know at the time what's going on. But I specifically remember it because I was just stumbling upon YouTube videos and I found this. I can't even remember what the name of the ASMR artist was, but it was like a spa role play, and that's nothing like anything what I would watch, but it had a lot of views and I was a bit curious into it. So I checked into it and I found this sort of whispering and the soft speaking and the attention, the personal attention quite relaxing. So I searched into this ASMR thing and I was just fascinated by it. And the reason I specifically remember it was because I was about to go on holiday or vacation in 2014. And the place that I was going to didn't actually have Wi-Fi. So I couldn't connect to YouTube and listen into ASMR because I heavily relied on it. And I still kind of do to fall asleep. So I remember trying to like download like playlists of ASMR videos and trying to find loads of different ones that I think I would maybe like and relying on these to help me fall asleep for this big vacation that I had coming up. So that's how I remember discovering ASMR.
That's fascinating. And you know, the first ASMRs that always comes to my mind when it comes to spa role plays is Heather Feather.
Oh, of course. She's one of the OGs.
Absolutely. I almost at least once a month I go back to her massage role play where she has a bunch of massage gadgets. Like there's one where it has like 4 little nubs that twirl in your hair like this.
Oh yes, yes.
I really want to get one of those now. and I barely have hair as it is.
I mean, neither of us do, let's be honest.
Yeah, there was a time where I had a lot of hair, though, when I was in my teens and 20s. I had really long hair, which is hard to picture now because
I can
10 years
actually
I'll
imagine
likely be
that.
bald.
Why can I imagine that? I can.
It's probably
I can see you as
it's probably because of the beard. Let's be real.
No, for me, Heather Feather, she was kind of the way I remember her is she kind of, I don't know if she was the first one to ever do it, but it was the SK sound, the sk sound.
Yeah,
she was the first one that introduced me to that.
She's considered the founder of it, although technically her mom is, because when she was little, her mom used to go.
I remember, yes.
And so she brought it into the ASMR community, and it became a thing.
Thank goodness that she did, because it is definitely one of the best trigger sounds, you could say, of all time.
And a lot of people struggle to go. I used to too. Here's my secret. I'm saying couscous in inaudible whispering, taking out all the vowels. That's how I do it.
Couscous. You know what? You could probably get away with just saying kiss, because that's kind of like back to front.
Yeah, that works too.
But
couscous is funnier, so I'm going with that.
Couscous, yes. Just let no one know. Couscous video.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your name. How did Duncan become Dido?
Well, yes. I mean, not even many people really know my name's Duncan, but it's been in my bio ever since I made my channel. So I guess that's kind of, if you check the channel bio or whatever, then you know it. But
and on Discord.
And on Discord as well. It's literally my name on Discord. But that's because I use that for personal and YouTube as well. So and if my friends see me coming in as Dido, if they don't call me Dido, they're a bit like, why is it Dido? And then I have to go into, oh, well, I make ASMR videos and Dido ASMR. It's just, don't want to always tell the story. But when I was younger, my mom actually, I had a bunch of nicknames, as you can imagine, with the name Duncan, loads of things, Dink, Diddley, lots of but Diddley
Diddley's taken.
Is already taken, so I couldn't take that one. And Dido was one that I got called a lot, but it was when I was very young, about 2 or 3. Wow. And it kind of phased out as I got older. And as I was making my channel, I didn't necessarily want to go for Duncan, because I was thinking of Duncan's ASMR, but I wanted to stand out a bit more. I wanted people to kind of be like, "Oh, that's an interesting name," and then they'll click, because like GB as well is a bit of an interesting name. And at the time, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of sounds quite nice." So I thought, what names have I been called? And Dido was one of the first ones that popped into my head. So I went for it. But as you can imagine, it's had its drawbacks, pronunciation wise, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Dido, Ditto.
Gosh. But I don't mind what everyone calls me. You can call me Duncan, you can call me Dido, Ditto, it's up to you.
Yeah, PSA, same with me. You can call me Keith, you can call me FamCam, you can call me Fam. Some people call me Fammy, and by some I mainly mean Julieta. She calls me that. So Carol ASMR calls me Keithaniel sometimes.
Keithaniel. Oh, I saw that was in your bio for something, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. I saw that somewhere, I think. Can't remember where.
It was probably my Twitter name for a while, among other things. But yeah, that's where it came from. Is there any interesting story behind the name Dido, or is it just another random nickname that you had?
It's just another random nickname. I mean, it's kind of, I mean, my friends all kind of call me it now because they know about my channel. So they'll kind of just be like if I do something silly, they'll just be like, oh, Dido. But
Dido.
Or if I'm off,
we need to make that a thing. every time you pull a fam cam, aka screw something up, we go, oh, Dido.
I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't. But if I'm off to film, a lot of the time, if my friends are like, "Oh, what are you doing right now?" Rather than me saying like, "Oh, I'm filming ASMR videos," I just be like, "I'm off doing Dido things," and they'll be like, "Okay, he's being a Dido," and that means I'm being quiet and I'm doing ASMR.
I love it. All right. Well, you're largely known to do gaming ASMR and gaming in general. So let's talk a little bit about that. How long have you been gaming, and what was the first game you ever played?
Oh gosh. So kind of like the old side of games, I don't really have the greatest memory of, but I remember I think the first I've been gaming since I was, as long as I can remember.
Sure.
But the oldest consoles I remember having would probably be like my brother's consoles, because I have an older brother, so anything he had, I kind of had. I mean, it wasn't really mine, but we had the Xbox Classic, and I remember playing, I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's a game called Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
I've heard the name, but I know nothing about it other than that it's a tiger from Tasmania.
And that was one of my favorite games to play on that. But I don't understand what I would do. I would restart the game every day. I wouldn't just continue where I left off. I would restart it and just play the same mission. So
I can relate. I used to do that with Alien Tales, aka Reading Galaxy. It was an educational game where you're on a game show on another planet, and a bunch of aliens have stolen a bunch of human books and claim that they wrote it, and they have an illustration you're supposed to uncover by solving a crossword or something like that, answering questions about the book, and find what is wrong with the picture that is inconsistent with the book that proves that they actually stole it.
That sounds quite good, actually.
And I when I started playing it, of course I was really young, and my reading skills were not yet that great. So to feel like a winner, I would play the first three or four books over and over again.
Yeah.
For no reason, as my dad put it, but that was the reason.
Completely relate to that. So yeah, that was one of the games I remember playing. We had a Shrek game as well. And apart from the Xbox Classic, we had a Sega Mega Drive, but the only game I really remember from that was Sonic Heroes. But my brother was way better than me. I think so, yeah.
Sonic Heroes, well, the Mega Drive, for those of you from North America, that's the Genesis, was from the early 90s. But Sonic Heroes, that was a couple generations later on OG Xbox, GameCube, and PS2.
Yeah, I'm getting it mixed up with the Xbox Classic, maybe.
Yeah, because the Mega Drive, that's where the original Sonic games went.
And we had a Game Boy Advanced, I think, was the right one that we had. Is that the gray one, the flip one, or is that the blue one?
The flip one is the Game Boy Advance SP, which is the OG Game Boy Advance had a little widescreen with the controllers on the side, or like part of it, and then the refresh was the SP, which added flip and a backlight.
Yes, we had the SP. That's the one that we had, and I mean, being someone really young at the time for that kind of console, I liked games like Rayman and Finding Dory. Not Finding Dory, Finding Nemo. Really, really basic games. But Rayman was one of my favorite in particular.
Rayman's good. I was just playing.
They were great.
I was just playing the original Rayman on my PlayStation Classic a couple nights ago. It's so incredible.
So good, so good. It's been a great series. And then since then, I've been heavily Nintendo and Xbox gaming, and then until recently, a PC gamer. So, I loved my my DS. I had a 2DS, I had a 3DS, and I mean, I recently got a Switch as well, and I'm loving the Switch so far. Yeah.
Out of all that, what is your favorite game to play at the moment?
At the moment, See, I kind of dabble between a few different games that I've been playing for like the past year or two.
Mm.
And this isn't necessarily one that I play on any of those consoles, but my favorite, I don't know if you call it a game really, because it's naturally a board game, but my favorite game is just chess at the moment. I'm a huge chess enthusiast.
Yes.
So I play a lot of chess, but my favorite game probably of all time, and just to play on my own with my girlfriend or whatever, is just Minecraft. Just, it's so diverse.
I feel old when I hear somebody call a video game a game because a video game is a game because
Yeah.
anyone my age and older thinks of board games as games.
That to me is, I would have to call that a board game if I was telling someone that's a game.
Yeah, but in reality, they're all games if you think about it, because they're all games in different forms.
Someone wins and someone loses.
Yes.
In most games.
In most
you
games.
Don't really.
Especially in mind games.
Yes, of course.
Sue me, I'm a realist. Speaking of realism, let's talk about card magic.
Of course.
Yeah, so a magician never reveals his secrets, but I'm gonna have Dido reveal a few, not of how he does his tricks, but a couple other things surrounding it. What got you into card magic, first of all?
I have kind of been, I've been a huge fan of Magic since about 2009, 2008. And that's when one of my family members showed me, it wasn't even a card trick, but it was just a magic trick. And I was kind of like, I was amazed by it. And I thought, all right, I have to one up him now. I have to go home, learn something, and come back and show it to him. So I went home and I typed in magic on YouTube, and I learned a few card tricks, and I went back and showed him a card trick, and then he was like, okay, now you have to teach me how to do that. So that's kind of what got me into that. And then I became a huge collector of playing cards as well, and that's kind of what sort of motivated me to keep learning card tricks. Was I collect loads of things. I collect Pokemon cards, I collect coins, I collect cards, playing cards, that is, of course. And I just love collecting things, basically. A bit like CNP.
Yes. What is your favorite card trick to do? And without explaining how to do it, explain what you can expect to see when it's done. How about that?
My favorite trick is, I think it was done by... I might be wrong, but I think it's David Blaine. I'm going to quickly find out, but it's called Card Monty. It is David Blaine, and it's called Card Monty. If you search that up, have you heard what Card Monty is, right?
I haven't heard of any Card Monty before.
That's part of the story of the trick as well. So it's the game that like street hustlers will do, where they get 3 cards, and you got 2 jokers and then 1 ace, and then you move them about, and you've got to keep your eye on the ace. Have you heard it? Do you know what that is?
Yes.
So it's like that game, but with 2 cards, and then there's a little magic involved, and it's probably my favorite favorite card trick of all time.
Okay.
And I've performed it in a video before, I think. So I'll try and find that and see if I can get you a link and show you what it looks like.
That'd be fantastic. Great trick. That would be fantastic. Speaking of David Blaine, full fun fact, I first heard of David Blaine not by seeing him perform tricks, but a parody of him. I don't know if you've seen it. There are a couple dudes walking home from a shopping trip or whatever, and then David Blaine comes across them. David Blaine does some street magic where he keeps putting random shit on their bodies, turning their soda into goldfish, things like that. It was great. No, David Blaine.
I love like magicians like David Blaine, Penn and Teller. Have you heard of them? Right?
No.
Oh my goodness.
To be
Penn
hon-
and Teller are amazing.
I'm such a noob when it comes to anything magic. To be honest, like whenever I know a couple,
Don't worry about it.
I know a couple of magic tricks, but I can reveal them because I'm a musician, not a magician. So I have no problem breaking magician's code because I'm not bound by it technically.
I mean, I say I've not broken the code, but I think I've got a video that's called like an hour of teaching you card tricks.
Oh,
So we'll pretend that doesn't exist, but it does, unfortunately.
yeah. In fact, cut this part out. Just kidding.
But yeah, so I'm
little
not one to
little behind the
stick
scenes
to
for
the-
y'all. I snap to remind myself to cut, just like I do in ASMR videos.
One thing that's kind of been like a staple on my channel is everyone's been, he's that ASMR card magician as well as JoJo ASMR. And,
Yes.
a lot of people will be like, "Oh, did you copy JoJo?" Or Joe, like he did this, he got this idea from JoJo. But the thing is that when I first made my very first card magic video, it's like my 5th or 6th ever video on my channel. I didn't even know of JoJo ASMR at the time, and then after I posted it, I was like, "Oh no, I didn't know this. I thought this was like an original thing because the video did well overnight, and I thought." Oh, I'm new. I've started this trend in ASMR, and then obviously I discovered JoJo, and I'm so glad I did because he's such an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And despite card magic videos being some of my favorite videos to make, I understand why JoJo has kind of taken a step back from them because they're very difficult. They're difficult to make in the sense that ASMR videos, you kind of need them to be a good length to help people fall asleep.
Absolutely.
And performing card magic for, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, you run out of tricks. You eventually will run out of tricks that you can find online.
The best
So
the best way to do it though is to go very slowly like that. And then you lengthen the time very well.
And just
plus,
make sure I
a lot of people
shuffle
find
the
that more
deck very well. Shuffle the deck for a good 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's shuffled enough.
A lot of people get tingles from deck shuffling.
Of course, yeah.
Let's talk about something that I discovered about you earlier today, actually. You play basketball. Now, we've had a few sports guys on the show recently. You play basketball, CNP played football, I played baseball, and also a little bit of tennis, but baseball is always going to be my main sport.
Yeah.
But how did you get into basketball, and how long did you take you to perfect your 3-pointers? Like, in fact, before you answer, here's a clip of what I'm talking about right here.
So basketball is actually not really the biggest sport in the UK. The
Right.
biggest sport is actually, well, soccer is probably what you call it, but we call it football.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what I was not kind of forced to grow up liking, but it's kind of what everyone like me and my age and my friends
Sure.
liked. So I kind of was a huge football fan up until it was about 12 or 13. And then around then is when my brothers, my brother and his friends got introduced to basketball. And then we got a basketball hoop for Christmas. And that's how I kind of got into basketball. And then we started off, making little trick shot videos with like copying Dude Perfect and things like that. And that's what got me into it. And I started to look at basketballers that I thought I played like, and one of the ones I thought I played like, which I obviously don't, at the time, was a player called Derrick Rose, who played for the Chicago Bulls, who are my favorite team of all time. In fact, I've got a Michael Jordan poster up in the background, and Kobe Bryant as well, who's also one of my favorite basketball players of all time. So that's how I got into basketball. I don't actually play for a team. but it's kind of just something I play with my friends and my brothers and his friends from time to time, and we just shoot about and play little pickup games, and it's just so fun for us.
Would you
But
ever consider joining a team?
I don't think I'm good enough, unfortunately, especially for my age group.
Did you not see what you posted on Instagram? You're definitely good enough, my guy.
You get the one shot that I make. You don't get to see the 5 or 6 I missed before.
I could, dude. I will miss like 50 before making a shot from half that distance. Trust me. I played on a team once. Scored 0 points the entire season, but in part because I sucked at free throws, and everyone in the league knew that and fouled me every time I attempted to make a shot.
Oh, that's never good.
Big brain energy.
Yeah, big brain energy from them.
2000 IQ.
Yeah, it can be tough, and pressure. The pressure gets to you when you're taking free throws.
Yeah.
But baseball is also. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but it seems like a really fun sport. I'm a huge fan of American sports.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
the British sports.
You say football is the big sport in the UK, and here in the US. American football, so to speak, gridiron.
Both the footballs.
American football and baseball are often debated, but as to which is like America's sport. Baseball is officially America's pastime, and I stand by it. I don't get me wrong. I do love football, but baseball it has been my sport since for as long as I can remember. I played on a team. Yeah, I played on a team for 4 years. I was on the A's 1 year, the White Sox for 2 years, and the Giants for 1 year, which great way to finish off my my career playing on teams as a kid, because the actual San Francisco Giants is my team. Because I am from the Bay Area, and it feels weird to say on the show because ChristopherNotWalken, the founder and original host, he's a Dodgers fan, and they're the arch nemesis of the Giants.
Oh, okay.
So even though Chris and I are best buds when it comes to sports, suddenly
he's not happy with that.
Suddenly we're rivals. We're like Ryu and Ken in a sense.
Well, baseball is. See, I would argue. Because I thought American football would be America's biggest sport, mainly because of the Super Bowl and things like that.
Yeah, the Super Bowl definitely gets a lot more attention than any part of baseball for sure. But football season is short because there's a lot of roughhousing, there's a lot of injuries compared to most other sports, and so football players retire a lot younger than a lot of other professional athletes, and they have to play shorter seasons because otherwise it would destroy them without a doubt. Like a lot of baseball teams have more games in one season than football players have in their entire careers.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy to think about.
That is pretty crazy. It's like I feel like the NBA season is 82 games, and that's quite a lot. So I feel like it's probably, is it more than, is the NBA season longer than baseball?
Time-wise, yes. Amount of games, no. Baseball teams usually have around 160 games a season.
Wow.
But it spans across a half a year. Like a lot of teams play several days in a row and then occasionally have a day off.
That's crazy.
More days off when they're traveling. But yeah, that's how it goes.
Well, props to you for playing long baseball season games and being a big baseball fan.
Yeah, I personally have never played seasons like that because I don't play in the MLB.
All right.
Which,
of course.
As a kid, I dreamed of playing the MLB, but as an adult, I'm glad I don't, because professional athletes endure way too many injuries. It's nuts, and I don't want to have a career where I'm almost guaranteed to be injured on a regular basis.
I've had some bad ankle injuries before. In fact, I've kind of got a little bit of one now, but I've had some injuries where I've had to go to hospital for like tearing ligaments in my ankle, both ankles actually, and I've got a bit weak ankles. But I've actually got a ASMR basketball video on my channel as well.
Really?
I'm not sure if you've seen it. Yeah, you should check it out.
Oh my god, I'm totally gonna.
It's got my brother in it, so we do a little 1v1, and it's one of my favorite videos that I think I filmed. So
sweet. 1v1 calling it 1v1 in basketball again makes me feel old. There's back in my day we called it one-on-one.
One-on-one. One-on-one's probably more American.
I assumed it was just gaming culture bleeding into basketball, because I've heard 1v1 in gaming a bunch but never in physical sports before.
What would I say if I'm going to play my brother? I'd be playing him at I'd say 1v1, but I feel like that's more V kind of means like it feels like more of a team. Usually maybe more than one-on-one sounds better anyway, I think.
Maybe it's a combination of the times and different countries' cultures, dialects. Maybe it's a combination of the two. Let us know in the comments if you know better, if you know for sure. But yeah, so speaking of comments, we have a plethora of fan questions.
And that might be a little bit my fault, but
it's kind of my fault because I encourage you to ask your community for them.
Well, of course, the more questions, the more people we're getting involved in the video, and the more we like to see, of course. Right?
And I suggested it knowing that we would get a lot. I mean, ASMR Destiny's episode was 2.5 hours because of the amount of fan questions he got. This has the potential to break that, but we shall see. If you're watching this after the premiere, you already know if you've seen Destiny's video. But anyway, I digress. First question comes from Ben Good. Favorite class in his degree? He also says, mine was ordinary differential equations for my bachelor's in electrical engineering. Nice.
Ordinary differential equations is... I've never heard that. No, this is nothing personal. Of course, everyone likes their own things, but I've never heard of anyone that's been their favorite class in their degree. And that's because my degree was maths, just maths. It wasn't with anything as yours was. But ordinary differential equations is something I was never a big fan of. My favorite was more kind of applied maths. I like the sort of areas of, I guess, ODEs kind of has things to do with real life, but I like the sort of applied side of maths. So, maths with biology and applied mathematics, which is a bit of physics and mechanics and things like that.
Well, your favorite is a lot closer to Ben's favorite because mine is animation and I major in computer graphics. Mine is drastically different.
Cool. I find that so cool, by the way. I was literally so close to going to do like a computing degree.
Yeah.
But animation blows my mind. I would love to. Have you done like animated things before? Have you made any animations?
Absolutely.
I'd love to see some of them.
Sure.
I think they'd be so cool.
I'll send some to you. I've been sitting on making animated emotes for way too long. I have no animated emotes yet, but eventually I will. But I have made one for James Bond 235, where I I had a picture of him making a face like this, and attach his finger doing this and just moving them so they go.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. See,
it's his most popular emote right now.
Is it?
Yeah,
that does sound pretty funny
by quite a long shot. There's one person in his community in particular who every time I show up in chat, he adds me and throws the emote in there.
Oh god.
Yeah. So next question, Aleko says, what do you think is the first quality you tend to look for in a person in the beginning of any type of relationship? Also says, love your videos, Dido.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the message and the kind comments. First thing I look for in a connection with a person, right? Kind of. For me,
it's easier to answer when you're single.
Yeah. So for my girlfriend, for example, I met her through education, through university, and we just had things in common. We both liked the same things. We got on well, but definitely the key to a good friendship is probably getting on well and being able to have fun with the person, spend time with them, and enjoy activities and go out and do things together that you will both enjoy and have a good time doing things with, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. 100%. Maxwell Clouds asks, Dido, do you have any memories of going on any trips, vacations, holidays with your family growing up?
Well, we talked about the vacation at the start, the one about how I had to download all the ASMR playlists and videos. But I'm not very well traveled, to be honest. I've been never been out of Europe. I've only ever been to France. I've been to Spain, like the Canary Islands. I've been to the same place in the Canary Islands 3 times with my family. So that's probably the place I remember the most about going with them to an island called Fuerteventura, and it's been one of my favorite places to go. And I actually tan really, really well. And I'm going on holiday next week, so I'm very excited to tan. But usually, the last holiday we went on was to Crete. Crete was a lovely, lovely island off of Greece. And I think, I really want to leave Europe and go somewhere like America. But in terms of stories about being on holiday, don't really have any. I've got one funny story where, but I wasn't actually there, and it was I was. I've been told it though. Whereas I was at the hotel room because I was a little bit burnt, so I was kind of like cooling off the burns, and my brother thought I had come down to the beach and was playing about in the sea, and he was in the sea, and he thought he saw me, so he was like shouting at me, and he was like, Duncan, come over, it's cooler over here, come join us. And then he's like, why are you not coming over? And then he started to walk over, and he was like, get on in. And then he gets closer and he realizes it wasn't me, and and yeah, that must have been a bit of an awkward encounter.
I've been there. I've been in his shoes without a doubt.
Never a good situation to be in.
Yeah. Well, honestly, if you're not very well traveled, which, by the way, based on what you've just said, you are at least decently traveled. You've traveled quite a bit. But having never left Europe, you would absolutely fit in the U.S. because most Americans never leave the country. About a third of us, myself included, but about a third of us even have passports. Only a third, probably less. It's ridiculous. Traveling is expensive in the U.S., even domestically. It's insane. So a lot of Americans don't travel that much, but I have been to Europe a couple times. First time was England and France, and the second time, I'm going to sound like a rich asshole, but it was with my parents. I couldn't afford this myself. I took a cruise through the Mediterranean to Italy and back. It was a lot of fun.
That sounds very nice.
Yeah, we stopped at Gibraltar, we stopped at Monaco, we stopped at France, we stopped at Italy. Italy was my favorite. We went to Pisa and Florence for the first day and Rome for the second day. And the Vatican, which blew my mind. That
would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I want to go to Italy.
You absolutely should. I couldn't recommend Italy enough. It is phenomenal there. And I'm from the North Bay Area, California, and Tuscany feels like home if you're from there. I am at Tuscan latitude, so a lot of the weather and a lot of the environment is similar to Tuscany.
It's kind of the same, yeah.
So it absolutely felt like home.
Whereabouts, if someone watching or myself were to come to America, whereabouts would you recommend? I mean, I don't know how well around America you have been, but
so a little bit biased, but I definitely recommend trying the Bay Area. That is where I'm from. But especially if you're into ASMR, because there's a science museum in San Francisco called the Exploratorium where they have a lot of hands-on exhibits. It basically is IRL ASMR, full on. There's one there was one exhibit that they had when I was a kid. I don't know if it's still there, but they had a CRT, cathode ray tube TV. Those old boxy TVs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you take a magnet to them, it will ruin the TV, but it will create a lot of
Like
colorful
a picture,
rainbows.
yeah.
A lot of colorful rainbows that will follow the magnet if you drag it across the screen. It's really
That's
cool.
so cool.
Don't ever do it to your own TV unless it's already on your last leg and you want to dump it. Then you can try experimenting with it. But like I said, it will ruin your TV.
I think there's an ASMR museum in London right now. And I would love to go, but obviously I'd have to travel down there and stuff.
Mhm.
But I think that would be really cool. But it's like specifically ASMR, I think. So
Yeah.
it kind of sounds like that. So that would be really cool.
Absolutely. And some other spots in the US, I highly recommend, also in California, is Tahoe and Yosemite.
Okay.
Both of them are along the state line with Nevada. Tahoe actually is 50-50 California, Nevada, and there's a ski resort there that's right on the state line. So there's two sides. There's a California side and a Nevada side on it.
Yeah.
It's called Heavenly. Can't recommend it enough. It is one of the most gorgeous spots I've ever skied on. And Yosemite being my favorite place of all time anywhere. It's tough to explain why. You just got to see for yourself. It is absolutely drop dead gorgeous, perfect place to escape. You do have to be mindful of bears, of course. Store all your food and anything else that might have a scent in a canister. It's easy to do. It's easy to do. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But they actually have a slogan: "Don't be bear careless."
Oh no.
But I've encountered a couple of bears before, and if you know proper protocol, you'll probably be fine. I remember one particular hike up to Half Dome. A bear walked across the trail in front of us, and it was facing away from us. And I was maybe 15, 16. I didn't really understand what to do if a bear was around, but if I was around my dad and a bunch of other adults that did know what to do, they were making themselves tall. And they were like screaming at it, which I was thinking in human. I was thinking in human.
You have to scare it off rather than it scaring you.
I was thinking in human, thinking that would provoke an attack. So my heart was beating out of me, man. And at one point, the bear stopped moving. It was walking away from us. It stopped moving, and I thought, this is it. This is how I'm gonna die. I didn't know what was going on, but then. About 5-10 seconds later, I couldn't make this up if I tried. I swear to God, this is what happened. The bear was like, it shrugged and walked away.
Just plodded along.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man.
But yeah, that is a terrible sales pitch to Yosemite. But things like that are pretty rare. Most of the time I've been to Yosemite, I haven't seen any bears. You just, like I said, follow proper bear protocol, which is not difficult to do. You'll be fine.
I feel like that would also be even better if I could ski, and I would love to be able to ski as well.
Yeah, man. I to this day have never skied in Yosemite, and you can ski there if you go in the winter, but I've only went in spring and summer.
Is it not as great then?
I one of these days I'm gonna find out, hopefully. But most of the time I've skied, it was in Tahoe.
Yeah. It feels like it would be good though. We've got a ski slope in Edinburgh, but it's never been something that I've been able to really do. I've gone to it before, but it's nothing that I'm not really going. Despite the dexterity of being able to do card tricks and things, coordination when it comes to skiing is not for me.
Totally.
It looks fun. But I'm not good at it.
That's the thing, though. It's going to take a few tries before you get good at it. I was terrible my first couple tries, too. I fell off constantly. My skis would get tangled, and I struggled to separate them and get back up. Yeah, it's going to happen the first few tries, but trust me, once you get the hang of it, it is so worth it. It's such a freeing experience. But anyway, next question comes from our friend ASMR Chess. And the question is, When will you play a when will you play a rematch against ASMR Chess? JK, real question. How does it feel to suddenly get rewarded for your hard work with a huge influx of subscribers? Do you consider YouTube as a career option at this point? Also, congratulations on your well-deserved success. I second that.
Firstly, thank you so much to ASMR Chess for the question and the comment. And oh boy, I feel like I'm still recovering from my beatdown in our first game. As you can imagine, with a channel called ASMR Chess, I maybe didn't stand as much of a chance as I would have hoped. But yes, I do love chess, and it was a lot of fun playing our first games, and I would definitely be down to get destroyed again. And it feels amazing to have. I've had such an amazing year the past year for my channel. We've grown so much, and I gotta say a huge shout out to everybody that has been watching, that's come from my channel or is going to head over and check my channel out. And I recently hit 100,000 subscribers.
That's right.
So it feels amazing, and I'm super grateful for what I've achieved so far.
Absolutely.
And ASMR Chess is an amazing career. So are you, FamCam. Both of you amazing YouTubers and ASMR artists. So I'm sure you can imagine when you hit milestones and see things pay off, it's a great feeling, and you're so grateful for everyone.
Amen to that. And I think you may be the first person to have a play button in the background on screen on the show since I took over the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
If not ever. I'm not sure. But yeah, it is very possible.
That's interesting. I used to have a different little plaque thing in the background. It wasn't a play button, but it was more, it was kind of like, if you go and look at my old videos, it's kind of like a little wooden plaque, and it has my old logo. I don't know if you remember my channel when it had the logo.
Yeah,
I had that on it instead, and I got that sent out to me by a company, and I thought it looked pretty cool, so I stuck it up in the background.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, ASMR Chess, for your question. I would love to challenge you at chess as well, and Dido, I would love to challenge you. I'm pretty sure both of you would wipe the floor with me. I did a couple chess streams with Gary the Gray ASMR, and he also is a master. The first game we played on the first stream, I beat him, but then he beat me on the rest of them, and then every other game since.
I need to try and find this video or this stream. That sounds so fun.
There's a couple clips I can send you. It's always been on Twitch. We played Chess Ultra, that really pretty chess game on PC and consoles.
I'll have to try and check out a few clips from that.
Definitely.
See how you are.
That being said, Prisma7 asks, what are Dido's hobbies and general things he likes besides ASMR? To elaborate on that, I guess anything we haven't already covered.
Well, of course. Thank you, Prisma, for the question. Other hobbies, apart from things we've mentioned, basketball, card magic. I love listening to music. It's something I actually dabbled into myself a little bit back in the day. Yeah, I used to make, of course, as you said before we started, FamCam was saying that he made a little bit of music back in the day, and so did I. It wasn't anything very good, but I used to like making music, and I love listening to music, and I'm a huge fan of watching movies and TV shows. I love watching films, and especially at the cinema as well. It's one of my favorite things to go and do is go to the cinema.
I haven't been to cinema since just before the pandemic started. But the last thing I watched in the cinema was Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one.
Oh, did you enjoy it?
Yeah,
did you really? Because I heard so many mixed opinions about it.
Yeah,
if it was good or not.
The thing is, a couple things. Most video game based movies are awful. Super Mario Brothers always comes to mind.
I think they're making a Mario movie.
They
I
are.
believe,
Yeah, they're
with Chris Pratt
Yeah, they
as
are.
Mario, I think.
Yeah, Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi,
That sounds like a good cast.
Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong, which is freaking perfect.
It is perfect, to be fair.
But yeah, the other thing about the Sonic movie is originally they were going to have this design that just looked really terrifying.
Oh yeah, I remember that. They
And
changed it.
Yes, they got so much backlash happened, and they actually listened, which is pretty freaking rare in this industry. They listened, redesigned them to look a lot more like what we know as Sonic, with a few elements of the original movie design to differentiate it from the game design of Sonic's appearance, but still having him recognizable and tolerable and lovable.
Of course,
and Ben Schwartz is a fantastic Sonic. If he took over the voice role in the games when Roger Craig Smith retires the role, I would be all for it, 100%. I don't think it's going to happen because rarely do actors appear in both the game and the movie. But if it did, that'd be great.
That would be cool. I've actually not seen it, so I'll have to check it out maybe, because I do love when video games get made into movies, but of course, as you said, mixed opinions usually. Yeah. It's kind of like, I was going to say, it reminds me of Detective Pikachu as well. I don't know if you saw that when it came out.
I haven't yet.
I thought that was actually surprisingly good for an old game being made into a movie. I thought that was pretty good, so I enjoyed that. So yeah, Detective Pikachu was a great movie, and yeah, hope that covers up your question. I enjoy music, movies, all that normal stuff.
Absolutely. As far as music goes, what kind of music did you make, and what's your instrument of choice?
Well, I say I make music, but it was more of I did raps. I made rap songs with my friends and family, and they weren't that great. Not great enough for me to probably share. I'd probably be more embarrassed about them as well than proud to share them.
I'll be honest, I can't rap to save my life, so if I did rap, I'd probably be in the same boat. Yeah, but I did rock music. Guitar and bass are my instruments of choice. Well, actually, no. Singing, vocals is my instrument of choice. But my physical instruments of choice are bass and guitar. It's a tie. My thing is, the further towards the front of the stage you are with the instrument, the better I am at the instrument. I can't drum to save my life at all. And I'm decent at guitar and bass, and singing is my thing.
I mean, I'm just impressed that you can do any of that. I can't
really
play any instruments. Yeah. I know like a few little piano riffs, but not enough to say I can play the piano or the keyboard.
Huh, that's something. I dabble on piano a little bit too. I mean, got it right here, but don't play it nearly as often as my other instruments, although I probably should, because piano with ASMR is fantastic.
It is.
I absolutely love lurking in Lil Moonling's Twitch streams while I'm working. I don't chat much there, but I do lurk there quite often because her songs, something about them really helps me concentrate, and I am terrible at concentration in general, to be perfectly honest.
Same.
Unless I have something to get me in the zone, and the Little Moonling is one of the greatest ways to help me get in the zone. Highly recommend her.
Another one I would recommend that's quite similar is Justin J. Rob.
Yes, he's
amazing.
been in this room. Really?
Yeah.
His interview was in person.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I think I saw a clip of that actually.
Yeah.
But I always lurk. I always lurk in those streams. They're amazing.
Yeah, I freaking love Justin. He's like a brother to me. He lives a few hours south of me. And so last year we decided to do our interview in person. It was in the sweet spot of the pandemic where everyone first got their vaccinations and the variants didn't hit yet. So
so you were allowed to come out, and then we realized probably wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, I had a Vax party, and Justin and a few IRL friends of mine got together to hang.
That's so cool.
And it was a blast. But yeah, I'm actually going to be on one of his puzzle podcasts a couple months from now, the day before TingleCon happens. So it'll be an opportunity to help promote that. Napsy 007, James Napsy, says, any tips to improve in chess? Greetings from Germany.
Another chess question. You know what? You're probably better getting ASMR Chess to respond to that question. Because although I play a little bit of chess, I'm not qualified enough to give any tips. You know what? My tip would be watch ASMR Chess's videos, because he makes a lot of informative videos and analyzes sort of historical games, and whenever he plays chess, he will explain his moves and say what's good. I watch a lot of non-ASMR chess videos as well, and they also help me improve. And if you can get a subscription to chess.com, because you can do puzzles and learn through that as well. But it's another one of those things in life that, practice makes perfect. It's a skill that you acquire and get better at the more you play. But highly recommend chess for anyone that's looking for something fun to do.
Absolutely. And I actually have a couple of tips myself. One, take control of the middle of the board before your opponent does.
Of course.
Crucial. Because if you have control of the middle of the board, you have easier access to the sides when they try to sneak around. If you focus on the sides, chances are you're going to only do one at a time, because of the limited amount of time you have compared to having your opponent attack. So if you take control of the side, they have more room to sneak past the other side. But if you take control of the middle of the board, it's much harder to go past. It's much harder to go past them on the side, because you could easily get them from the middle in most cases. And two, castle the king as soon as possible. It's so difficult to get to the king if your opponent castles their king. It's a game changer. They seem like basic tips, and they are, but trust me, they are game changers. Do them every time you possibly can.
Similar basic tips to that would be things like try and limit the amount of times that your knight is on the edges of the board. Because if you have a knight on the edge, it can only go to about 2 or 3 squares.
Exactly.
Whereas if it's in the middle, as you said, control in the middle, knights are better closer to the middle. And only trade pieces if you need to as well. Always think it through first.
Absolutely. And another one that just came to my mind, and this is a super common rookie mistake. Do not.
Is that a pun? A rookie mistake?
Nice. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, sure. We'll go with it. Do not get your queen out early. A lot of beginners
that is a rookie mistake.
A lot of beginners do that because it's my most powerful piece. I'm going to get her out first and wreak havoc. No. Here's what's going to happen if you get your queen out first. Your opponent is going to get all their other pieces out bit by bit, chasing the queen around. You're just going to move the queen around a bunch, and all your other guys are going to stay still, and they're fortifying their positions, as they say in Die Hard. They're going to get he's going to get their army out, and you're going to be stuck where you started. That puts you at a ridiculous disadvantage, even if none of your pieces were taken yet. Even if you take some of their pieces, See, winning in chess isn't necessarily defined by having more pieces left. It's defined by who's in a better position to capture the king in checkmate. Plain and simple.
Strategy.
Exactly. In fact, sometimes sacrificing your queen helps in the long run, especially if you have pawns that are close to the other side of the board.
Yes. If you pull off a queen sack, I'll be very impressed. If you pull it off in the right manner.
I have done that a few times. Not very often, but I have done a few queen sacrifices that led to a checkmate. It happens.
Usually for me, if I do a queen sack, it's when I know that I can back rank checkmate. If you know what back rank checkmate is.
What is that?
It's when the king is kind of stuck in the corner behind pawns and it can't get out.
Yeah.
And you get your queen out and then they take the queen with the rook and then you move your rook up.
I have done that a good few times. It's always sweet when that works.
That's my favorite queen sack.
I had a friend in college who I did the same 4-move checkmate 3 games in a row. And it's so easy to avoid, but he managed to fall right into the trap.
Classic traps.
Yeah. So Kazu asks, what are Dido's life goals and where does he see himself 10 years from now? The classic job interview questions laying on there.
I just realized as well from ASMR Chess's question about this kind of links to this question as well about where do I see myself in 10 years and do I see ASMR being like a full-time job? And at the moment, did I say ASMR Chess is my job? I meant ASMR is my job. I can't even remember. Right now, ASMR kind of, it is my job, but I don't like to think of it as a job because it's more of a hobby. Like I would do that even if there was no money involved in making these videos. I just enjoy making ASMR videos and it's a lot of fun. It's quite peaceful. It's relaxing and
assuming the neighbors don't make a lot of noise.
That's the only drawback, yes, is the noise from other people. But yeah, it's definitely something that at the moment I love doing and helping people with. But in the long term for me, I actually really would love to be a maths teacher. So in 10 years, I would love to see myself hopefully teaching maths at high school, which I don't really know what that equivalent is in the States, but it's kind of between the ages of 12 and 18.
High school? Middle school?
Yes. Is that what middle school would be in America?
In America, middle school is 6th grade through 8th grade, which is typically ages 12 to 14, 11 to 13, depending on like what time of the year you were born. And then high school is 9th grade through 12th grade. And then after that, you go off to college.
Okay. So high school here is middle school and high school combined, if that makes sense, I think. Yeah. So I would love to do that in 10 years time, hopefully. And yeah, that's kind of where I see things going for this. And hopefully, who knows, maybe the channel and all our channels that have been on the podcast before will just keep on growing up from here.
Absolutely. AF asks an epic AF question. Dido, what is your favorite ASMR video you created for your channel?
That's a tough one. That's a tricky one. You know what? Actually, it's an unreleased video, I would have to say, because it's recently changed. You're about to see it. In fact, maybe by the time this podcast goes out, it might already be out.
Okay.
But I just recorded, yesterday was a really, really sunny day. So I decided to record an ASMR outdoors video, which I know I'm not the first one to do this, so I can't say, you know, this is, it's an original idea.
I used to do those back before the pandemic, and I've been meaning to do it again ever since. But for some
I'll have to check them out because I think they're so cool.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, it's such an underrated subgenre for sure. Outdoors is a great place to find peace, and ASMR is a great place to find peace, so why not put them together?
And you've got the nature, you've got birds, and depending on where you go, for my video, I went down to this little trail that's in Edinburgh, and it's got it's got a little river, it's got nice trees and leaves and rocks and everything, and it's not too busy, so it was perfect to make a video. And I had so much fun making it. And although it's slightly shorter than my usual videos, it's different. It's unique in the sense that for my channel, it's not usually what you would see.
Right.
So that's definitely one of my favorites.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
I'm excited to post it.
So Oscar RBX asks, will Dido ever do an ASMR sub goal? I'm not sure if that's for YouTube or Twitch, but I guess for either one. You do sub goals on Twitch though, right?
On Twitch, yes. I usually do, I will do like a little goal. I think you came by my stream last night, which, by the way, I gotta say a big thanks to FamCam for his support on my streams.
Of course.
It was awesome seeing you. You need to get back to streaming, because I love FamCam streams, by the way, everybody. If you're watching this, FamCam, I miss your flight simulator streams, because I love them. They were so good.
It has been a while since I've done a flight simulator stream. These days I like stream off and on depending on how much time I have, because I do way too much in life, generally speaking.
Busy person.
And don't give myself enough time to recover. So a lot of times when I do, it's when I was going to stream. So I apologize for that. But yeah, I definitely do need to do Flight Simulator streams again. Flight Simulator keeps updating and having bugs with these new updates all the time, which is why I don't do it that often anymore. But whenever there is an update that is actually functional, hell yeah, I'm bringing Flight Simulator streams back.
I'll be excited, and I'll be waiting for it, and I'll be sure to get involved in it when it gets updated that works. And I'll maybe even try get it, because I've tried other Flight Simulator games and they're always so difficult. So you'll have to try and teach me.
Yeah, I honestly still have a lot to learn about Flight Simulator. Draconis ASMRs, who's been on the show recently, he's the one that got me into Flight Simulator. He actually knows what he's doing when it comes to flying in general. He actually does have some I think he does have some formal flight training. He's been into the piloting scene since he was really little. So he actually knows what he's doing. I don't. I just know, I barely know enough to be able to fly a plane in Flight Simulator, and my landings show that. I am the worst at landing, to the point where it's become a meme in FamCam. Yeah.
But for streams, as I was saying last night, we were doing a few. For sub goals, I usually do. If we reach a sub goal, we'll have a little reward that we do. So sometimes I'll do funny things, like I'll have a Bean Boozled, and I'll try and stay focused. Or other things like we'll play a game of solitaire. So that's little fun things we do when we reach sub goals. And on YouTube, you can create goals if you want, but for me, anything is a goal. If I gained one extra subscriber, I've hit a goal. I've gained a sub. Anything that you get on YouTube is should be a goal.
Alex P asks, what's one thing you can't live without, and how would you spend £1 million? Exactly.
Debating whether going for a boring answer for one thing I can't live without, for example, your phone, or something really deep like my girlfriend, or something really unique like another boring answer would probably be air. Something unique. Do you know what? This is such a stereotypical me answer, but it's like statistics. I love looking at statistics. This sounds really sad, but the YouTube analytics page is just, I'll spend an hour on there sometimes just looking through things. Or when we play basketball, we'll note down our percentage shots, like how well we shoot, and I'll just look back at it and I'll use it to try and improve. So stats is something I couldn't live without.
That's something I don't live with enough. for sure.
Really? Oh, I love like analytics and stats. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And then what was the second part of the question again?
How would you spend £1 million?
Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna say what people want me to say and say like invest it, because that is so boring. No offense. Although it's sensible, that's so boring. I'm
Invest
gonna
in
say
Bitcoin and NFTs and all that shit.
Bitcoin and NFTs. That
Yeah.
is such a boring answer. I would say I would buy myself my favorite car, even though I can't drive, which would be an Audi R8. That is probably what I would get myself. I'd get an Audi R8, and
Does that cost £1 million?
I don't. It's probably not. Let me just Audi R8 price. Let's just guess. Oh wow, not even anywhere near. £150,000.
Okay, so
thereabouts.
you have 850 left over. What are you spending that on?
I will donate it to charity.
There you All right.
Are you happy? Are you happy?
So he's getting a car and donating to charity. Solid
Of
answers.
course.
Yeah. I would honestly probably do the same, but instead of a car, it would probably, oh God. I hate thinking about what I spend money on in general because I am currently saving up to buy a house, of which in today's market in the US, it's an impossible dream to chase.
Oh no.
The housing prices are through the roof, pun very much intended. And they just keep getting worse until it crashes. It's right now the US is there. Maybe I'll buy one when it does crash, who knows. But yeah, because of that, I hate thinking about what I'd spend money on. But if I did have $1 million to just throw away, I would travel. I would spend a large portion.
Yeah.
I would spend a large portion of it on charity too, but I would also travel.
That's a great answer.
Because
travel.
as a stereotypical American, I don't travel enough these days. As a kid, I did because my parents are doctors. But as a millennial, I don't have nearly as much money of my own as I would like to, so I don't travel that often these days. But if I had a lot more disposable income, I would absolutely travel a lot more. And
that's a great answer.
And I would use it to meet all my friends in the ASMR community, something I've been wanting to do for years. I've met a few, but just a few out of God knows how many.
That's a great answer, and I wish you the best of luck with your house endeavors. I can only imagine, because they're the same here in the UK right now. The prices of houses are ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure that would definitely help out for that.
Okay.
Cars and houses are always good to go with if I say when you, as if you just casually get £1 million. But if you get £1 million, cars and houses are always what you usually go to for them.
Yeah, I would definitely prefer having £1 million over $1 million, because compared to British pound sterling, the American dollar is kind of worthless. Chris Rock
if you had £1 million, you'd have more dollars, if that makes sense.
Exactly. That's why. Chris Rock had a bit about that, where he was like, I was in London and I gave somebody $10,000 and she gave me a loaf of bread.
Great impression, by the way.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Let's see. Zachariah Johnson asks, what made Dido want to get into ASMR? In addition to what we've covered about it, anything else you want to elaborate on?
I feel like a lot of ASMR artists say this, but after discovering what it is, the reason that I wanted to get into it was to give back to the amount of times that I had listened to it. Because
me too.
I mean, my first video was in 2018. That's 4 years after I discovered it. And I thought it was about time, that I give back to all the support from the other creators and the amazing community that that we have built. So yeah, that's kind of why I got into it. And again, I love magic, so I thought, hey, let's combine the two things I love, make a magic and ASMR video. And it was my first video that kind of took off, if that makes sense. So
Yeah. Right on,
that's how I
man.
got into it. How about you? I actually want to hear your story. How did you get into it?
I'm also one of those many ASMRs that say it was to give back because, yeah, absolutely. My entire life, I've suffered from ridiculous levels of insomnia. Like every time I've ever had a sleepover, anytime I had a living girlfriend, etc., I would always, almost every night, be the last one to fall asleep to the point that it hurts, literally.
Oh no.
So once I came across ASMR, I was hooked almost immediately, especially when I found out that people used it to help fall asleep. I was like, this is what I've been needing for decades. Because oh my God, it is such an amazing phenomenon. It's more effective than any sleep aid I've ever tried.
Definitely.
I still combine it with melatonin because that's how bad my insomnia is. But yeah, it is a true godsend. And because I love filmmaking and other art forms, and I've done a let's play channel before that I never shared. It doesn't even exist anymore. It was purely for fun to show my friends, let us be let's be our own version of Game Grumps, essentially. But I was like, I am familiar with how YouTube works. I love making videos and I love ASMR. Why don't I combine them? So eventually I did, and here I am.
Of course.
Yeah.
And look at where you are now.
Yeah. Look where you are now. Look behind you, damn it.
Look at where the community is now.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. The names SX asks, tips for anyone else wanting to start ASMR. What got you to start? We just covered that latter part. But yeah, tips for anyone else wanting to start ASMR.
I would say don't think that you need amazing equipment to produce good videos. That's definitely something that I started off by thinking. I thought, I'm never going to make it because I don't have a good camera, a good microphone. I've never done an ASMR video before. Just be yourself. Just do what you want to do. Create the videos you want to create. And never go down the route where you're making videos because you think other people will like them rather than the fact that you enjoy making them. You also need to find that balance, of course. But like, for example, one of my first videos, I didn't even show my face because I wasn't comfortable doing that at the time. And my microphone was this microphone right here, as a lot of ASMR artists actually still use in videos because, it doesn't have to be amazing. You can use the equipment that you've got and give it a go, and if you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
Yeah, lo-fi ASMR is a lot more popular than you may think. A lot of people
definitely.
A lot of people love that more scratchy sound. It's very tingle inducing for a lot of people, myself included. I rarely get tingles from just whispering, but with lo-fi ASMR, absolutely. Because of that scratchiness. Like, scratching sounds are my number one trigger for ASMR tingles. The first time I ever experienced ASMR, I was 5. My parents were sweeping the patio in the backyard, and I had a storm of that sensation cover me, and it was the first time I ever felt anything like that, but it was so intense, and I was really little, so I thought something was wrong with me. But I later learned it's actually a great thing. But yeah, that was like the early 90s when that happened. Nobody knew what the hell that was.
Yeah.
Mr. Pitre, correct me if I'm saying that wrong, Mr. Pitre, I apologize. I think that's how it's pronounced. Asks, Dido, will you ever upload to your second channel more? Because for those of you who don't know, Dido has a second channel for non-ASMR gaming.
Yes, it's called More Dido. It's in my video descriptions. But I honestly, when was the last time I posted to it? I'll try and find out, but I believe it was a long time ago. it was yeah, well, April 3rd, 2021. I just saw the April 3rd and I thought, oh, that wasn't that long ago. But 2021, that's, more than a year ago.
You really
And
would fit in the U.S. calling it April 3rd.
April,
As
well, that's
opposed
because
to,
I've just read it as it's come up. Yeah,
as opposed
that's what
to
it says.
3rd of April.
3rd of April is how it should be, let's be honest.
Yeah, I personally think it should be year, month, date, or date, month, year. But
okay.
But because general to specific kind of concept that they do in art, that's how I think when I organize things. The way I usually sort my files is by year, then by month, then by date. So when I see month come before date, I want the year to go before and not after, because otherwise it just feels like it's scrambled. It doesn't feel like it. You don't feel like you have your ducks in a row when you see that.
Well, that's better than month, day, year. I'll approve of that one. Although, but I still feel day, month, year, or year, month, day are definitely more sensical than month, day than year.
Totally. And
I just think
as an American, I've been heavily trained to say dates as month, date, year. But I agree, it is a little backwards because you're going specific to general versus general to specific on those other options we discussed. So when it comes to organizing things, I go year, month, date. But that's just me.
So that was a year and a couple months ago, and the channel it's meant to be, non-ASMR gaming, and I was actually going to do a few IRL videos, but I just not really had the chance to do many of them because, well, my life just hasn't really been as interesting since the pandemic.
I feel you.
But I do want to try and post to there more, maybe over the summer, maybe like little mini. Like a mini series on a couple games, maybe even a Minecraft series because of the new update, and little short vlogs like when I'm going on holiday, things like that. I think that would be fun to do over there.
Yeah. Speaking of which, as of the time we're recording this, you're going on holiday shortly after. Anything without? Well, I guess you'll be back before this airs, so I guess you don't have to worry about stalkers by talking about where you're going. But anything you were looking forward to in that trip?
So yeah, I wasn't actually going to let many people know until I'd come back, but because this is going out after, I am going to Tenerife, but I am really looking forward to it. We're going to like the south end of the island, which is kind of, I feel like, the more active side of the island in my eyes. It's got a lot of it's got a theme, not a theme park, a water park that I really want to go to because I think it's recently been rated the #1 water park in water, and I'm gonna get a lot of people going on about the way I say water. The #1 water park in Europe called Siam Park, which I'm really excited to go to. So excited to go to that. Really nice beaches there, so I'm excited to go to there.
I may have to check that out next time I'm in Europe. Last time I've been to Europe was 2009. Jesus, it's been too long.
Gosh.
I was actually going to go in summer of 2020, but didn't for obvious reasons. Yeah, I was going to go to England and meet a few friends in the ASMR community. But yeah, it's going to happen eventually.
I'm glad you call it England rather than the UK, because
I call it the UK unless I'm talking about specific spots in the UK. Then I'll call it England, Scotland, Wales.
Right.
It all depends.
Because being someone from Scotland, when people refer to the entire of the UK as England, it just it annoys me. So
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. That's kind of how I feel as a Californian. A lot of people think of LA as California. I'm from NorCal, and even though it's the same state, they're two very different places. When you drive between each side of the state, it feels like a different state.
And it's a big state. It's really long.
It really is. Like California is pretty close to being the size of the UK. Pretty close.
It
which
probably is,
insane.
to be honest. Yeah.
The mystery man with really long underscores asks, if Dido does become a teacher, how will it affect his YouTube channel? Because I'm pretty sure schools don't agree with teachers having a social media persona. Well, that depends on the social media persona and the school.
It's not something I've really thought about too much, to be honest. I definitely have to have a think into it and what the rules kind of are behind it. But if possible, I never want to give up making ASMR videos. If it came between being a teacher and making ASMR videos, I will find the balance to do both if possible. So I never want to give up either of them. Both of them are like my lifelong dreams to make ASMR videos and also to be a teacher. So I definitely have to find the rules between that.
Definitely. And of course, you could always teach math with S in parentheses. You can always teach in ASMR videos. Decaf Math ASMR is a perfect example of that.
Yep.
She makes incredible math ASMR videos. She actually lives not far from me, but we haven't met yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I love Decaf Math. I've been in touch with her a wee bit before. I've made a few ASMR math video before on my channel, and they're usually quite popular. But she is definitely the queen of ASMR maths. If you enjoy the math videos I've posted, her videos are a lot more informative. And this is for everyone that have seen these. Definitely check out hers because she teaches the stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's really like the personal attention to it as well is great.
Uchina asks, where did you learn card magic?
Where? Mainly YouTube. I won't lie. I would love to say I found them in card books and stuff, or magic books, but really I just learned them on YouTube. I just typed in card tricks tutorials, and there was a few YouTube channels that I think still post, but I've not watched them in a long time. One called Scam School. I loved Scam School. They did card tricks from time to time. And then another guy.
I love that name, Scam
School. It's because they also did little bets and like tricks and things that you would win at like bars and stuff. And then the guy was called Brian Brushwood, and he had this kind of like mine but more extreme spiky hair, and I loved him. He was amazing.
Like a paintbrush.
Like a paintbrush, but like a bit more like grouped together, like one spike, another spike, another spike.
I just wanted to say that because he has brush in his name.
Oh, Brian Brushwood. Yeah, he was amazing though. I loved him.
Sometimes paintbrushes do have that formation though. When you use them and then you wash them out, and then you dry them out like with your hand. Sometimes they do have those little spikes.
I still get a little bit of like PTSD when thinking about DIY, because I used to work in a DIY store and I did not enjoy it.
Really?
I did not enjoy it. No, don't worry. So there was him, and then there was also a YouTuber called Miss Mag, who I loved as well, and he revealed card tricks, and that's kind of where I learned mine. So.
Nice. Azel Everett, if I pronounce your name wrong again, I apologize. Asks, how long has Dido been doing ASMR? I guess we covered that. You started in 2018.
2018.
When in 2018?
It was in April. So, it's just pretty much been 4 years recently, a couple months ago. I always, whenever it's been a year, I do a little stream to celebrate, and we have cake and stuff usually. So nice. I remember this one. I think I did like a little celebration on a YouTube stream. So it's been just over 4 years.
Nice. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I'm not too far behind myself. I started in November 2018 on YouTube. On Twitch, I started in March 2019. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm not too far behind on that front. Robbie Koopman Related to the Koopas, I assume? I'm just kidding. Did you make up the math equation in the math trick short by yourself?
The math equation, I think the one, because I've done two, the math trick, I think, is referring to the one where I prove, this is going to sound ridiculous to you if you've not seen it, but I prove that 1 is equal to 2. Let me find out.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to see this. Yes. Proof that 1 equals 2.
Proving to you that 1 is equal to 2. And all that's left is to divide both sides by b to get 2 is equal to 1. I am going to try the best.
That is awesome.
It might be a little confusing, I know, but it is a fun little trick. So
that is great. I love it. Y'all are seeing me smiling like an idiot because I just watched it. I cut it because I want y'all to watch it too. Link below in the description. Oh my god! Even if you don't understand math all that much, if you understand algebra at all, it's gonna blow your mind to smithereens. And my brain is mush right now. I'm kind of recovering just a little bit. Wow. If my brain doesn't regenerate, I may have to retire. Oh boy.
Sadly, I did not make it up. I would be very, very proud if I did. But
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It kind of reminds me of Abbott and Costello's routine of proving that 7 times 13 is 28.
That's, oh gosh.
Are you familiar with that?
Little tricks like these. These are usually more tricks though, aren't they?
They were able to prove it through division, multiplication, and addition. Using all phony methods, of course, but they were consistent. They consistently got the answer.
And at the time, you're like, this works.
Yeah, and you could use a lot of other numbers with those same phony methods, and they will work most of the time. But yeah, it's insane. F129 fan asks, have you ever messed up a long video like uneditable? I'm amazed I said that without stuttering.
Uneditable.
And just decided to start again with this typed up.
Firstly, big shout out to F1 fan. Always comes to my streams, so thank you so much for the question. And yes is the answer to that. Actually, recently I recorded, I think it was actually a gaming video. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a 1 hour long gaming video, and I recorded it, and it went amazingly. And then I come to edit it, and I realize that the audio wasn't recording.
Yeah, every ASMR artist will experience that at some point.
It's never good as well. Because
I've had that happen to me
point,
so many times.
So uneditable, of course.
Yeah.
You can't add in audio, and if you were to voice over it, good luck with that. So you have to just re-record it, and it's not great.
The only time you can get away with that is if it's Metal Gear Solid 3, because
why is that?
Because when the English voiceovers of according to Snake voice David Hayter, when they did voices for that, they were not like watching the screen as they were doing the voices. So the English voices were way out of sync with the Japanese mouth animation. But in Metal Gear Solid 4, they actually did watch the screen so they could get the timing right.
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure 2 is even worse. They a lot of times you'd see this. Yeah, we'll see about that, Batgirl.
Oh god.
It's so amazing. So bad.
It would be a challenge to do for ASMR. It would.
Absolutely.
It would be impressive. There's a video idea for you. ASMR, but it's not what it seems, and you're voicing over it after.
Yeah, maybe I'll use the Snake voice for that, because it's right on theme.
Or maybe we both do a video for each other, and you've got to try and do my voice, and I've got to try and do your voice.
Okay.
Voice over, and we make a little script so we can That's
Yeah.
us practicing.
Omar Al Abdallah asks, not a question, but please post daily on TikTok. I can't sleep without watching your videos, and I don't usually use YouTube. I'm always watching your TikToks over and over again. Please post regularly there, all caps on that last part. What do you guys say about
Okay.
that, man?
Well, TikTok's actually surprisingly not one of my favorite social media platforms to post on. My favorite ones are
Same.
YouTube and Twitch, but I have been shocked at how fast and incredible my TikTok has been since I've set it up.
Mhm.
An example of which, and this is not me trying to just shove stats and figures at you, but I posted a TikTok.
He's the stats man.
I do love my stats. I posted a TikTok 3 weeks ago, and it has been my fastest growing video I've ever posted. It got 6.5 million views since posted in 3 weeks, and
That's
I
amazing.
gained 60,000 followers from it. So
Nice.
it's something that I definitely need to delve into more, because I think it must be the TikTok algorithm is just way bigger and way more diverse than YouTube. There's probably loads more accounts on it. So I definitely feel like I need to post on it more, because although it's not my favorite, it's probably better in the sense that it's easier, and that's probably a bit modest to say, but easier to push out videos on, if that makes sense.
Definitely. And I kind of relate. I don't post on TikTok very often. I do generally when I feel like it, because for me, my TikTok channel is really just whenever I feel like being an idiot on the internet without talking quietly or whispering. But because yeah, for what I do on TikTok is just comedy. And if I'm doing ASMR on it, it's parody. Like I duetted Nathan ASMR. Shout out to Nathan, by the way. He's the host of TingleCon. I duetted him where he did a video where he was plucking away negative energy, and I was like, ow, ow, ow. And it was a blind reaction too. It was completely improvised. I didn't watch in advance to plan anything. I just went into it blindly and improvised that. And
On the spot fam cam comedy.
yeah, it was a lot
We'd
of
love to see it.
yeah. Maybe, you know what? I'll put in the episode right here. Here you go.
Hey there, how are you feeling? I'm doing good, man. No, I'm so sorry you're feeling down. I know, I'm doing fine. I learned this new technique that I think may help you. Okay, it's called plucking away your negative thoughts. I heard about that. Let me give it a try. Go for it. Ow, ow, ow. Stop. Get my eyes.
But
Nathan
yeah,
ASMR is amazing as well. I love his streams.
he is. I really love his travel videos. Last or about a half a year ago or so, he also is from the Bay, and he came back to the Bay to visit and did a video on Napa, which is part of the North Bay, part of wine country, not far from me. I obviously won't reveal where I specifically am, but Napa is a really gorgeous place. And he went to visit, and while he was here, I drove out there to meet him, and it was an absolute blast. It felt so surreal because he and I worked on TingleCon for so long, and when we finally got to meet, it was like meeting a long lost friend. Essentially it was meeting a long lost friend. Our fish favorite IKEA item with a muscle emoji.
This thing in the background, this thing right here, I'm not even kidding as well. This thing in this white sort of shelving unit, I'll kind of move to the side so you can see it a bit better.
Yeah.
But it is called a Kallax, spelled Kallax. No idea what that means, because it's Swedish probably. But it is my favorite thing that I've got from IKEA. I think it's so cool, and I think it looks amazing in the background. And I store anything I want in it, from my light box with a It says Dido ASMR. This thing in the middle, which is a Pokemon tin and a Funko Pop over there. Got wrong way. Like a letter D for Duncan, but Dido. And then lots of other things from playing cards to Rubik's cubes and juggling balls. Because fun fact, I can do both of them. And
I didn't know you
lots
could
more
juggle.
things. Shall I give it a go?
Yes.
I'll have to take the earphones out, so
Do
I
it.
won't be able to hear you.
Do it. Do it. Actually, you know what? Let's roll.
This is not going to go well now. Oh.
Oh! Yeah. Have you ever... So, what just came to my mind after this experience... Great job, by the way.
You too. I didn't know you could either.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I think that's the first time I ever juggled on camera before. Not the best. I can't juggle 4. I can only juggle.
No,
up to
that
3.
was impressive. That was really good.
But also, I could do 2 one-handed.
Oh wow! I don't think I could do that.
Yeah. I learned that when I went to my first Giants game. The pitcher that day was Sean Estes, and when they announced him as the guy who was going to pitch, they had a video of him juggling 2 baseballs with one hand.
Yeah.
So it blew my mind, so I decided to learn it myself.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. I couldn't do that, so I'm very impressed with that. I feel like is that harder? Do you think?
It is a little harder. Yeah, two with one hand is easier with 3 too. Yeah. See, talking while trying it and knocking over a fan with my butt. Anywho, but yeah, one thing that came to my mind as we were juggling is an episode of the U.S. The Office when Will Ferrell takes over for Steve Carell as manager for a while.
That's such a good scene, and she's like, chuck me in a 7th ball or whatever it is.
It was amazing.
And then he goes like, he chucks them at like Kevin or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. Fun fact: the UK counterpart to Kevin is named Keith.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not a lot of people know that
the
because
more you know.
Yeah, most people. I've found that most people in the UK watches the US office more than the UK
Amazing.
office.
Amazing TV show.
But I do recommend the UK office. It is also amazing. I mean, Ricky Gervais. Is amazing. Is the star and creator, and he is an absolute joy.
He's so good, and I think he actually like co-produced or co-wrote the US office, and that's probably what's made it as good as it is. So
absolutely, one of my favorite scenes ever actually is when David Brent, Ricky Gervais' character, bumps into Michael Scott, and
in the elevator.
That was a treat.
And he's like, "What a nice guy."
Yeah,
and it's because they play the same role.
Exactly. Next question comes from Elizabeth with a capital H. Dido's favorite dog breed. Dido sounds like a dog breed, come to think of it.
A Dido.
Yeah. But yeah, favorite dog breed.
My favorite dog breed is Labradors, particularly black Labradors. And that's because over like the past few years, I have had so many friends that it's a really popular dog. I feel dog breed. Yeah. I feel in especially in Scotland and the UK, and I just love them. So they're definitely my favorite dog breeds, and I really, really want one, but I'm a little bit allergic.
Oh, no.
So if I was less allergic, I would definitely try and get one.
Yeah, having to depend on antihistamines would be a nightmare.
To tell me about it. Daily tablets.
Absolutely. I fortunately don't have any major allergies from things you would commonly be exposed to, but I did take an antihistamine before all of my COVID shots to mitigate the side effects that happen to a lot of people. And I gotta say, after my booster, I felt nothing. I wasn't numb, but I didn't feel any side effects. But for my 2 main shots, I did have I had a bit of a fever the first time, and had a major pain in my arm. Felt like somebody punched me really hard with brass knuckles.
Oh no.
But the second time I had no pain in my arm. I just felt ill for a night, but was completely better the next day because I drank a ton of water and got 10 hours of sleep. I just spent an entire day napping.
Yeah, I think that is probably like the main symptom is like tiredness and fatigue after it. And I mean, it's not really fun story, but a little story about my COVID shots. And I wasn't really gonna ever mention this, but my first 2, they were completely fine. Everyone going on about side effects, I thought they were just, you know, exaggerating. But then on the day of my last one, the time of my appointment was at like 9 a.m. And I know for a lot of people watching, that's probably just like normal time to wake up. But for me, that was pretty early in the day. So I woke up at like 8:45 and I hadn't really eaten before I'd gone. Worst decision of my life. Right after the shot, I was really nauseous and I was super, super dizzy, and it was not good. So never making that mistake again. Yeah.
Oh, I feel you, man. Batesy Boy. Love that name. Batesy Boy. Favorite ASM artists?
Again, huge shout out to Batesy Boy, another active viewer on the streams and my YouTube channel. Favorite? He's sitting right in front of you. Famcam ASMR.
Nah.
Is that the correct answer? No, you are definitely one of them. I love your videos and I love your streams. So definitely Famcam ASMR.
Likewise, man.
Thank you very much. But this is a really tricky question because I get asked this a lot, and I hate getting put on the spot asked about my favorite ASMR artists.
I feel you, dude.
Because you don't want to leave anyone out, and you don't want to just go on and list everyone. So
what I've found is it's easier to name your favorite ASMRs when you're not also an ASM artist. Like before I started, I mean, these are still some of my favorites. My favorites were typically the typical ones. Zeitgeist and Frivy were 2 of my biggest go-tos, and GB, of course. But yeah, my 2 go-tos for big creators are Frivy and Zeitgeist.
Yeah, they're both, or all of them are amazing. So, shall I give you 3, and then that way, you know, I'll give you. They're not my top 3, but they're just 3 random ones. How about that?
You can. You're not allowed to include me in this, though. That's the one rule.
So I'll pick 3, and I'm going to. I have a little bit at the bottom of my channel that says some of my favorites. So if there's loads more on this list, but I would say one of my current favorite ones that I love is Ephemeral Rift.
Yes.
And that's because I love his uniqueness. I think he is by far the most unique that I have seen lately.
Absolutely.
You don't get ASMR videos like his. You'll never see anything different from his videos. Absolutely amazing, and I think he's really, really good. Mm-hmm. I love JoJo's ASMR. He's another one that I absolutely love. And for my third one, I'm gonna go for ASMR Chess because we've been talking about chess, and yes. I love ASMR Chess's videos as well. So there'll be 3 that I'll give you, but there are so many more. So if I have not said them and you think that I love them, I probably do. So
those are good choices. Sahil Tiwari asks, which artist do you listen to? I guess in addition to the ones that we just named.
In addition, some other ones I listen to. So I love listening to some ones that I'm like good friends with, I would consider, like AS Clamar, Let's Play ASMR, CNP, BTech ASMR, another one called MZG. They all do kind of gaming videos as well as the traditional ASMR style videos. AGN, I think, is another amazing ASMR artist.
Absolutely.
And then I also, and I've realized that's predominantly male ones that I've listed, but I do
So-
there's no specific one that I'll go for usually. There's loads of different ASM artists. GB, I like Scottish Murmurs, especially because representing the Scots in the community. And there's so many. I'm probably missing out so many more. But loads of creators out there.
Absolutely.
They're great.
In fact, on the issue of male versus female creators, for years I've considered my big four on Twitch to be they are 2 men and 2 women. They are James Bond 235, the ASMR nerd, Maya ASMR, and Caitlin, aka ASMR Kitten.
Yes.
Very very close to all 4 of them. Have all of them. I've been a big part of their communities pretty much since I started. And in fact, Caitlin and Maya, I in part influenced them to make ASMR streaming on Twitch a regular thing for them somehow. I didn't even know that. Both of them have told me that. But
and you helped me out a lot with mine. I don't know if you remember, especially when I first started out. You would help me set up like commands and things because I was so new to it, and I relied upon you a lot for starting out on Twitch. And I've noticed a lot of the ones I've listed are all predominantly YouTube, but when it comes to Twitch, there's so many more that I could list.
Absolutely.
RJ and J,
yes,
I think is amazing. ASMR Darling, who streams more on Twitch now than she does on YouTube. ASMR Southern Belle, Echo. I think Echo's amazing as well.
Yes,
got a great accent as well. And yeah, there's so many more.
Absolutely. So Scraps Demon asks, why did you start doing ASMR? We kind of covered that. You wanted to give back to the community. But any other driving forces behind that we didn't talk about?
I mean, I've kind of made a couple YouTube videos when I was growing up. I mean, I still am growing up, but when I was younger, of non-ASMR things like, playing video games like FIFA or Minecraft or whatever.
Yeah.
But none of them ever really took off. And I thought, you know what, I'll keep experimenting. I'm not just going to give up. So I thought I'll try ASMR, see how it goes. And it went really, really well. The first couple of videos I posted didn't do so well. And then obviously the card magic started. And that's when I realized maybe I'm onto something. And that's kind of what continued and motivated me to keep going was the magic videos and all sorts.
Right on, man. Sala asks, have you ever seen the Mexican Soccer League? And if you haven't, would you like to watch it?
I have not, no, actually, but I love the World Cup, and I love Mexico in the World Cup. They've always been a great, solid team in the World Cup. Excited to see how they get on this year. One of my favorite Mexican footballers of all time is Carlos Vela. He's probably one of my favorites, but I would definitely maybe like to check it out. It sounds very interesting. So I'll have to take a little look after this podcast.
Last of the fan questions, Aztec asks, are you old?
Do you know how old I am? Famcam, do you know how old I am?
I do not. Do you know how old I am?
No, but should we both guess and we'll see? Okay. And then we can judge. You can judge if I'm old for that question.
Okay. I'm going to say for you 24.
24, okay. I'm going to say for you 30.
All right. Your actual age?
22. No, 21.
21?
I always forget my age. I'm so sorry. 21, but 22 very soon.
I was 3 years off. I am 34 going on 35 in August.
Wow. No way. You look so much younger than that, by the way. I would have guessed.
I get that a lot.
Because I was honestly going to say like 28, 27. And then I was like, I feel like this is a trick. It's going to be 30. So I'll go 30.
Yeah, I am in my mid-30s. I know I look a lot younger than that, especially without the beard, which is part of why I have the beard. I to this day would be carded for everything. Uh well
I
into
am.
I still well, you're 21. It makes sense to get carded at that age, but in your 30s, it feels a little weird after that when people start asking you to show your ID when you buy booze or whatever. And I never get carded anymore because of the beard. But without the beard, I guarantee you I would still get carded.
So what would you say? Is 21 old? Depends how old you are. If you're watching,
21
if that makes
is
sense.
21 is a borderline kid to me, man.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
To
me, I wouldn't say I'm really kid, but
yeah,
that's because I want to feel old.
Well, you are an adult, but
I am, yeah.
When I was 21, that was so goddamn long ago. It was like it was nearly a decade and a half ago. So, and that's a long time. There are people who were children when I was that age that are now parents, and that blows my mind. Thank you so much, Dido, for coming on. It was an absolute blast.
Thank you.
It was an honor having you on, and I know you say that you're honored being on. As I like to say, no, Neo, the honor's mine.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure being on the show, and it's been great to chat to you, and hopefully everyone watching has enjoyed getting to know myself a bit more. And huge shout out to FamCam and the rest of It's Getting Late for such an incredible podcast and incredible show.
Thank you so much, man.
An amazing, couldn't have picked a better host, by the way.
I appreciate that. And with that, a couple questions as we wrapped up. Where can people find you on social media in addition to YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok?
On social media, I am Dido ASMR pretty much on everything. Most platforms, it's all one word, but specifically on TikTok and Instagram, because someone stole it, you have to put an underscore in between Dido and ASMR. And what was the other question you asked? Sorry. Where can people find me?
Yeah, where can people find you?
And where? YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. I have Twitter, but I don't use it as much. And that's pretty much everything that I've got. Yep.
Right on. Everybody, please be sure to check out Dido on all the platforms. Links down below in the description. And last, before we wrap up, do you have any future plans for your channel that you'd like to share?
Future plans. I have some exciting videos coming up this summer, including, obviously, you have seen the Outdoors ASMR one by this time. A very popular series on my channel has been the mind reading videos and the basketball videos. There will be another part to both of them coming out. And, you know, I'm hoping to maybe hit 200,000 subscribers sometime in the next year. That's my, I know we talked about goals, but that's my unwritten goal, if that makes sense. Well,
now it's verbally inscribed on the internet forever.
What have I let myself into?
Yeah, what did you let yourself into? But yeah, that being said, I wish you the best of luck on that. I know you'll get it sooner than you think. It's gonna happen.
And you too, of course.
We'll see when it happens to me. I'm in no rush, but if/when it happens to me, it will definitely be a dream.
It definitely will. Definitely will.
But yeah, all that said, thanks once again for coming on. Be sure to go subscribe to Dido ASMR on YouTube, follow him on Twitch and TikTok and all the other socials. And until the next interview, stay chill and have a good night.
Good night, everybody. Buddy.